name is Lindsay, and this is the Gentle Blitz. And tonight, we are gonna go over my fantasy football. Let me change the colors. I feel like this is a lot better. My fantasy football week. Week 1 was last week. The lighting is a little off because my baby light died, so I apologize for that in advance. So we're just flying by the seat of our pants right now, as far as lighting goes. I am gonna go over my fantasy football. What I did, how the game went, how everybody else in my league did, and what changes I made because the waiver wire has happened, and I did make one change. It's not a big, well, I did make 2 changes really, but one before the games and one after. So we'll just go over it. So without further ado, so it is, hang on, I need to bring back so I can see what I'm screen recording because I have no idea. Here it is, McMillan Dollar Baby. I won. I'm in 3rd place. I scored a total of 139. So let's actually, what I'm gonna do is go to league matchups, and then we'll go through my team. We'll go to week 1, and this is what it was. I was up against Randy Watson. He had Baker, who passed for 3 touchdowns and 167 yards, and I had Jalen Hurts, who rushed for 62 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. And he gave me 32.5 points. So basically, the quarterback position was a wash in this instance. As far as receivers, I had Garrett Wilson, who had 7 receptions for 95 yards and a touchdown, and he had Malik Neighbors, who didn't necessarily have the greatest game. I know him and Brian Daboll got into a little bit of an argument on the sideline. I think it's bound to happen. I don't know that Russell Wilson is the answer at quarterback there. So here we are. Malik Neighbors had 5 receptions for 71 yards. So right there, I won the wide receiver 1 battle. I had McMillan in, and he had 5 receptions and 68 yards. I'm a little bit nervous about him because of who is throwing at him, throwing to him, which would be Bryce Young. I feel like McMillan will do well as the season progresses, but there's going to be some growing pains, and I wouldn't be surprised if Bryce Young gets replaced if he doesn't continue to do better. Thank goodness I was going up against Cooper Kupp, who had Sam Darnold throwing to him and had only 2 receptions for 15 yards. Ashton Genty was doing poorly pretty much all day long until he got a touchdown. So that's a little bit of a concern to me, but again, I think it's the first week, and the star players didn't live up to what they were, and there's people that kind of stepped in. I think Genty is just gonna get his feet in, and they'll start using him in a bigger way. He had Devin Achan, who was really held in check by the Indianapolis defense. He did get 16 points, but he was held in check. He had a receiving touchdown. But outside of that, Indianapolis held him in check. Aaron Jones, I will tell you, I was actually down going into Monday night. I was down by 4.5 points, maybe even 3.5 points. I don't remember. And it wasn't until the 3rd or 4th quarter, when Aaron Jones scored this touchdown, that I shot ahead and ended up winning. So thank goodness for Aaron Jones. It'll be interesting to see. I think that Jordan Mason is going to be the starter, like the number 1 running back, but Aaron Jones still has the value as a receiving back, so I think that's going to help me. We'll just see where it goes. Chuba had 1 touchdown, 1 receiving touchdown, and 57 yards. I think the Panthers as like a whole weren't great. Tyler Warren is probably going to be my starting tight end, where I might put Tucker Kraft in my flex because it seems like they're going to get looks, but maybe not this week. We'll see how it all kind of goes. But Tyler Warren started off pretty hot with Indianapolis and kind of cooled off in the second half, but they were up by a lot at that point, so it's not shocking. I think that he will be one of Danny Dimes' favorite people to look at for those short, I mean, not even short routes. He's a baller in my eyes. Trey McBride had 61 yards and 6 receptions for 11 points. Chris Olave, 7 receptions for 54 yards. He did end up getting hurt. I don't know if it's a lingering thing or what's going to happen. I mean, Arizona won that game, but the Saints could have easily won that game too. He had Tyrone Tracy for 4 points. I'm assuming he'll probably end up not doing that again. Because if you we'll look at his bench, if he would have just had 2 different players in there, just one of the players he would have won. Hands down would have won. Jake Bates, I'm debating if I should get rid of Jake Bates and maybe go with a different kicker. I was thinking about Will Rickard, but somebody picked him off of waivers already, so maybe Brandon McManus or somebody like that. But 8.5 points is 8.5 points. Chris Boswell is a top kicker, and he gave him 14 points. I ended up at the very last second on Sunday picking up, or no, Saturday, not last second, but Saturday, I picked up San Francisco's defense because I was allowed to put Quinshon Judkins on IR. So I picked up San Francisco's defense and I put them in. You know, I think San Francisco's always a solid defense, so it was kind of a no-brainer. I was a little nervous about the Packers. In hindsight, I probably shouldn't have been nervous and I should have just trusted the process, but I didn't. So, and then he had Denver. And then I had Fred Warner, who is, like I said, he's a very solid defensive player. He gives you 5 to 7 points. Sometimes he can go to 10. But you know that's solid. That's solid. And then he had Zaire Alexander. I was thinking Jair Alexander. Zaire Franklin, who gave him 3. So the biggest difference here is Tyrone Tracy here and Cooper Kupp here. And then I was able to get 14 points when I needed it from Aaron Jones. Like, that's like the biggest, like, if, again, let's go down. Tucker Kraft didn't get more than Chris Olave, but maybe I should have. There was somebody in the comments that told me to stop put Keon Coleman in the flex, and I ended up not doing it. And if I did it, then I probably wouldn't have worried about it going into Monday. But I think I might put Keon Coleman into the flex, or Tucker Kraft. So that's where I am. But if he would have, if my opponent would have just put in any one of these, or definitely Quentin Johnson, but Hollywood Brown, anybody else, he would have beaten me, or at least come close to beating me. I think he definitely would have beat me with great. Like, they're not going to be the first choice, but they might be solid. And Kayshawn kind of showed that he was a little bit of Drake May's favorite player. I ended up in my league, I have to spend money to get waivers, so I ended up spending $5 on that. I don't know if I needed to necessarily. Let's check out Quinjon. So Quinjon is not practicing, so I'm gonna keep him probably on IR. He looks like he is expected back with the team. I think he is meeting with the NFL this week to see if he will be suspended. I'm hoping that he's not, but you never know. When he does come back, I think he will be a solid. I think he's going to be thrusted, not immediately into the starting role, but he will eventually be the starter, and that's the reason I drafted him for $1. Jake Bates, I think that I am going to keep him this week. They're playing Chicago, and Chicago they looked good, but they faltered in the second half. And then I'll probably keep San Francisco here against New Orleans for sure. But yeah, these are the moves that I'm thinking about making here, is maybe putting McMillan here and then Keon Coleman here. And then maybe J.K. Dobbins to Aaron Jones, but I'm not too sure. I also might put Kayshawn in the flex against Miami, because Miami didn't look good at all. And but for right now, I'm gonna put Keon Coleman back there. I think let's see what the notes say. Coleman caught 8 of 11 targets for 112 yards and a touchdown on Sunday. Yeah, I think that might be the play. So let me know what you guys think. This is what I have as my starting lineup, and then let's go back to matchups so we can see what it looks like here. So he's favored by 3 points, which is fine. He'll be favored by more because he doesn't have a defense in yet. So this is what we're looking at. Dak probably will have a game. Let's look at Drake London. It says Falcons head coach Ray Morris said that Drake is expected to play against the Vikings. London left the Falcons week 1 loss to the Buccaneers in the 4th quarter and did not return. So he has a questionable tag. We'll see. I don't know that he gets to 17 points, but you don't know. And then Zay Flowers had 29 points, which is crazy. And he'll probably have the same amount of points. I fully expect to lose this week. I just think that I don't have enough firepower to keep up with Drake London, Zay Flowers. Just like looking at the matchups that are happening here. And then we'll see what he does with defense. And then he has Travis as his defensive player, which is crazy. That's crazy. Wow, I didn't even think about that, because you're going to get the wide receiver plus the cornerback. Is that what happened? Who is this? I don't hate Drake May. Let's see what he did last week. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's look at league matchups. I just want to see what Travis Hunter scored last week. Oh, he had him on his bench. Oh no, he had him down here. Hang on. Let's see here. Got 8.5. I wonder if I want to see his season stats. I wonder if they're only counting him as a defensive player and not a wide receiver. I'm wondering if no, wait. He didn't do anything on defense. So that's actually a smart play. Once he starts to get going, you essentially have 4 wide receivers. That's insane to me. That's I didn't even think about that. That's crazy. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. Because essentially he has one, two, three, four, five, six wide receivers, and then his wide receiver here is also a defensive player, which is crazy. That's crazy to me that the league is allowing that to happen. I don't know, should I say something? Should I be that person and be like, that's unfair? Whatever, that's playing the system. I'm playing the system right now with the IR. So I didn't even think about that. And I think a lot of people wouldn't have thought about that because a lot of people don't have defensive players, but now that you think about it, it's a smart move. It's a smart move. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. I feel like this has gone on a little too long. I will show you the players that are on wires. There's literally nothing as far as quarterbacks go. We have Cam Ward, Sam Darnold, Joe Flacco sitting there. Wide receivers, Michael Wilson, he might be somebody. Kyle Williams, Demario Douglas, Deontay Johnson, and then running backs is like nothing. Miller, Sean Tucker, Justice Hill, Miles Sanders, maybe. I mean, there's just nothing. This is what happens when you have 14 teams in a league. You don't really get anything great. Johnny Smith's still there. Harold Bannon would be somebody to look at. Kickers. Maybe Brandon McManus. Maybe.